I never imagined one night could shift my entire world, but it did. It began the day my father remarried. Lisa wasn't the cruel stepmother you'd expect from childhood tales. She was graceful, kind and strikingly beautiful. Too beautiful. I tried not to notice, but the awareness of her lingered constantly. And I hated that at first. I chalked it up to admiration. She had this calm elegance about her, and when she laughed, the whole house seemed to light up. But then there were those moments, her hand brushing mine and staying a beat too long, her gaze holding mine with unspoken weight. I told myself it was harmless, just warmth. But deep down, I sensed it was more. My father was rarely home, always traveling for work, leaving Lisa and me alone for days. And in those stretches of silence, the walls seemed to shrink, pressing us closer. I tried to ignore the tension, but it only intensified. One night, after dinner, we sat together in the dim living room. The TV buzzed in the background, ignored. Lisa swirled wine in her glass, her fingers delicate and slow. "You're quiet tonight," she said gently, tilting her head. I gave a small shrug, unsure how to respond. She set her glass down and leaned in, her tone softer. "You can talk to me, you know?" My mouth was dry. I could smell her floral, heady, and dizzying. "It's nothing," I managed. She smiled, though her eyes hinted at something deeper. Then, with a quiet gesture, she reached out and tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear. It was brief, simple but electric. My heartbeat stuttered. She rose slowly, stretching with effortless grace. "You should get some sleep," she murmured, before vanishing down the hallway. I sat frozen, haunted by her touch, her voice, her nearness. When I finally crawled into bed, sleep refused to come. My mind spun through the evening, dissecting every moment, every glance. Was I imagining things? Or was there something real in the way she looked at me? Then, just as sleep began to creep in, I heard the soft creak of my bedroom door. I froze. A figure appeared in the doorway. Lisa. She stood still for a moment, silent, waiting, maybe, waiting for me to stop her. I didn't. She stepped inside, closing the door behind her. Moonlight painted her outline as she moved closer, her eyes never leaving mine. I should have said something, anything. Asked what she was doing, why she was here. But words failed me. She took another slow step, her perfume wrapping around me like a fog. "I couldn't sleep," she whispered. I barely whispered her name. Her fingers brushed my hand, a jolt shooting through me. "Should I go?" she asked. But she already knew I wouldn't say yes. And I didn't single quotes T. Instead, I reached for her. The moment our lips met, everything else disappeared. There was no guilt, no hesitation, only want. Her body melted into mine. Any restraint we might have had vanished. We crossed a line we could never uncross. Afterward, she lay beside me, her heartbeat echoing against my chest. Neither of us spoke. There were no words for what we had just done. Her fingers traced gentle circles on my arm. "This doesn't change anything," she whispered, but I could hear the lie in her voice. It had already changed everything. I turned to study her face, searching for guilt, regret, something, but there was only quiet acceptance, as though this had always been fated. She pressed a soft kiss to my shoulder, then quietly slipped out of bed. The room turned cold the second she left. "Go back to sleep," she murmured from the doorway. "Forget this ever happened." But I couldn't. Morning came, and it felt heavier somehow. The smell of her still lingered on the sheets. For a moment I thought it had all been a dream until I saw the faint imprint on the bed beside me. Downstairs, I heard the clatter of dishes, her soft humming. She was up, acting like nothing had happened. When I entered the kitchen, she turned and smiled casually. "Good morning." "Morning," I muttered, sitting down, my stomach in knots. My father was still away, which should have brought relief, but it only made things more dangerous. She served me breakfast, and when our fingers brushed, it was intentional. "Sleep well?" she asked. There was something hidden in her tone that only I could hear. We never spoke about that night directly. We didn't have to. Every look, every touch, every quiet moment between us was laced with memory. Then it happened again. And again. The second night, the third, the fourth. It became an addiction. A shared secret that burned through every rule we were supposed to follow. But fire always consumes. One night, just minutes after she had slipped out of my room, I heard the front door open. Panic surged. My father was home. He greeted me warmly, clapping a hand on my shoulder. And then Lisa appeared. She wrapped her arms around him, kissed his cheek, the same lips that had whispered my name just hours earlier. Watching her play the perfect wife shattered something in me. I fled upstairs, sick with guilt, with longing. I knew it had been wrong from the beginning, but now, I couldn't pretend anymore. She didn't make it easy to let go. Even as I tried to pull away, she'd find reasons to pull me back in secret touches. Lingering stares, soft whispers in the hallway, and I let her. But slowly, something shifted. She began to withdraw. Our conversations grew shorter. Her touch became rare. The visits stopped. I tried to tell myself I was imagining it, but then I overheard them. My father asked why she seemed distant. "Just stress," she replied smoothly. No sign of guilt. No hesitation. She was done with me. Later that night, I found her waiting in the hallway, but there was no warmth in her expression. Just finality. "It has to stop," she said. I already knew that. Still, I needed to hear the reason. Because of him, or because of us. She touched my face gently, no passion this time, only a quiet goodbye. "You always knew what this was," she said, and she was right. The next morning my father announced we were moving. He had accepted a job in another city, a clean slate. I didn't protest. As we drove away, I looked back one last time. Lisa stood by the window, watching, but she didn't wave. She didn't try to stop me, and I never looked back again.